now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33, and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting. A movement of people, it's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the business is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify when you and God in time are best aligned.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
How can I be a better father, son, a better grandson, honoring Fannie Lou's and the Fred Hamptons, the Harriets, the chariots that carry us to various areas that marry us to progress. Yeah,
you are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, not in DC today, but instead with you. An afternoon drive time live from Los Angeles, a rainy LA, might I add. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ. And there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't already. Download the app. That way you can listen to us live while you're on the go or on demand. Or you can just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580 because we're fancy like that. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. Now, talking about not missing anything, let me just say you shouldn't miss the Left Coast Forum. It's going down right here in LA at LA Trade Tech on October 25th. Mark your calendars and go ahead and put your fingers on the keys and type KBLA1580.com. Go to our website and register for free. This is the place to be. This is where progressive leaders on the front lines are going to be convening. These are the people that are putting in the work. These are the people that aren't just sitting on the sidelines talking about what's wrong and who done did it. But these are the folks that are making it their business to do what they can from where they are with what they have. And so if you're looking to tap into conversations that are shaping the future, if you're looking for a place where ideas go to get tested, you want to go to the Left Coast Forum. Dr. Cornel West will be one of the keynotes. Richard Wolff will be one of the keynotes. And so many progressive organizations, St. John's Community Health, Liberty Hill Foundation, SEIU. I mean, too many organizations to name. And so go to KBLA1580.com to register today. All right. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. This first headline, neither good, bad, or ugly, but instead heartbreaking. People magazine reporting that D'Angelo's son, Michael, has broken his silence on the singer's death after losing both parents in 7 months, saying that we should keep him in our thoughts. This is what we know at this hour. D'Angelo has died at the age of 51. His son, Michael Archer II, also lost his mom. D'Angelo's ex, Angie Stone, in March. D'Angelo's son, Michael Archer II, who's only 27 years old, he paid tribute to his late dad after the Grammy-winning singer's death, which has shocked so many folks inside and outside the music world, saying, quotes, "I am grateful for your thoughts and prayers during this very difficult time, as it's been very, very rough and sad year for me." He said, "I ask that you please continue to keep me in your thoughts, as it will not be easy. But one thing that both my parents taught me was to be strong, and I intend to do just that." In a statement shared with People, a representative for D'Angelo's estate said, quotes, "The shining star of our family has dimmed his light for us in this life. After a prolonged and courageous battle with cancer, we're heartbroken to announce that Michael D'Angelo Archer, known to his fans around the world simply as D'Angelo, has been called home, departing this life today, October 14th, 2025. Our condolences are with Michael Archer II and with the entire family of D'Angelo." Just looking at what's trending on social media, so many of us feeling the loss of that musical great. Some might even call musical genius. In other news, Chicago's TV producer that was arrested in that ICE raid, you all remember that? You might remember that. Images of that arrest, video of that arrest trending on social media. Well, lawyers are saying that they find those pictures and video to be alarming and horrifying. Attorneys representing a producer for Chicago's WGN television station, who was temporarily detained by federal agents last week in Chicago, says that the incident, quotes, "should be alarming and horrifying to every person in the country." Debbie Brockman, a U.S. citizen and a WGN employee, was arrested on Friday by federal agents during the ICE operation in Chicago's Lincoln Square neighborhood. Videos from the scene show Brockman being forced to the ground by two agents before she's handcuffed and put in a van. Now, at the time, a Homeland Security official claimed that Brockman threw objects at Border Patrol cars and was placed under arrest for assault on a federal law enforcement officer. But later on Friday, WGN confirmed that Brockman had been released from federal custody and that no charges had been filed against her. In a news release issued by attorneys representing Brockman today, which was sent to a number of sources, including The Guardian, her lawyers disputed the government's account. They said that they, quote, "adamantly deny any allegation that she assaulted anyone, and that Brockman was the one who was violently assaulted by federal agents on her way to work on October 10th. Her lawyers say that at the time of the arrest, Brockman was, quote, "not acting in any professional capacity as an employee of WGN, but that she was just walking to a bus stop as a part of her morning commute when she was attacked by Border Patrol agents." You better believe we're going to continue to keep our eye on this. Look, over around here, we take freedom of the press seriously. And it's no secret that the press have been under assault by this administration. And so, again, we will keep our eye on that. Finally, the Supreme Court turns away from Alex Jones's attempt to block a $1.5 billion judgment. NBC News reporting that the Supreme Court today rejected conservative conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' last-ditch attempt to block an almost $1.5 billion defamation judgment that he faces over false claims that the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. The court, without comment, turned away Jones' appeal of a state court ruling. And last week, he urged the court to urgently intervene, saying that if the court did not take action, his website, InfoWars, was at risk of being turned over to satirical news site The Onion. The proposed acquisition would be used to help fund payments to family members of the Sandy Hook victims. Jones's lawyer had warned in the filing last week that if the case was not put on hold, InfoWars will have been acquired by its ideological nemesis and destroyed. And so it looks like the U.S. Supreme Court was not moved. But it also looks like that $1.5 billion judgment, that them dollars are going to start moving pretty quick to the families of those Sandy Hook victims. When we come forward, we're switching gears. We're welcoming back to the show More Perfect Union contributors, Dr. Jonathan E. Collins, Assistant Professor of Political Science at Columbia University. We'll also be joined by Jamar Reed. He is a data scientist and a founder of District Analyst LLC. We're going to be going beyond the headlines with these two gents when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MAJOR25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Hit me! National news, the consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and delighted to welcome back to the show two of our all-star A More Perfect Union contributors joining us live in afternoon drive time. You know him as Dr. JC. We call him Dr. Jonathan Collins. He is Assistant Professor of Political Science over at the Columbia University. Also a proud Morehouse alum, Morehouse man in our midst. Also, we have Jamar Reed. He is a data scientist. He's also managing partner of District Analyst LLC. Jamar empowers executives and entrepreneurs to transform complex data into clear strategies and drive growth and innovation. In other words, he is highly skilled at getting beyond the numbers and the headlines. Welcome back to the show, Jamar. Jamar, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Quartey. Great to be back with you, brothers. Yeah.
Wonderful to have you here. Okay, well, first things first, there are a lot of headlines that are trending today, but there is one very troubling headline. A number of folks have reached out to me today texting this. Politico has exclusively reported on leaked messages exposing young Republicans' racist chats. Leaders of the Young Republican group throughout the country, they worried what would happen if their Telegram chats ever got leaked, but they kept tapping. And they referred to Black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and they mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed supported slavery. Dr. Collins, were you at all shocked by what you read? And in this particular moment, is this enough to even break through the noise?
I wasn't surprised at all. This has been building because what we've seen over the last couple of election cycles is a failed opportunity. And the Republican Party in particular, they had the chance to say, hey, we are going to have political debate that is about the economy and healthcare and some of these core policy issues that are vital to the existence of the American people. And they decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to allow this racism to stay on the table. And in some instances, we're going to put racism and xenophobia onto the table, right? Well, the thing about it is, well, when you allow gas into the room, you run the risk of a fire. And that's essentially what's happening here. Because during the 2016 presidential election, during the 2020 presidential campaigns, during the 2024 presidential campaigns, we saw Donald Trump repeatedly either make appeals or refuse to disavow appeals from white supremacist groups. Now you look up and there's clear evidence that white supremacy has infiltrated the Republican Party, and not just the Republican Party that is running government operations in DC. These are young Republican leaders from different states across this country that are engaged in essentially a mass spewage of vile, racist, anti-Semitic, and just ultimately violent and disgusting rhetoric.
I mean, Jamar, we're talking about, as reported by Politico, the 2,900 pages of chats shared among a dozen millennial and Gen Z Republicans between early January and mid-August, chronicling their campaign to seize control of the National Young Republicans organization on a hardline, pro-Donald Trump platform. Many of the chats, as reported, many of the chat members already work inside government or party politics. And to Dr. Collins' point, one of them even serves as a state senator. I think there are a number of people who may read the story and think, okay, chats surface showing that there are racist Republicans, nothing to see here. But I think what may be more distressing to others is that these are young Republicans. These aren't old Republicans. These are young people. This is real about Gen Z and millennials. And so, what does this say about the future of not just the party, but the future of leadership in this country?
Yeah, I think it's a sad day, Dr. Quartey. When I think about it, I was looking at a data point, and I read that 62% of Gen Z voters say that racism in politics is becoming worse. And this is since 2020. And this is a new Pew Research poll that put out that number. And I think the danger is not just in the fringe hate, it's in the institutions that normalize it and that are silent about it. And I guess that's the biggest fear to me, And again, it's something that we've heard over and over again. This is exposing the quiet part out loud. It's what we've known. But I think the interesting part is, what are the institutions? What are they going to say about it? And I'm interested to know, what comes out of, through our oldest and longest serving institutions.
Yeah, and speaking of some of our oldest and longest serving institutions, we know that NBC News is reporting that 5 major broadcast networks say that they won't sign this new Pentagon media policy. 5 major broadcast news networks, they announced today that they will not sign the Pentagon's new press policy before an afternoon deadline. Joining several other media organizations objected to the set of rules that many journalists considered restrictive. The policy is without precedent and threatens our core journalistic protections. That's what these news organizations are saying. The fact that we even got to this point, Dr. Collins, the fact that these news organizations appear to actually have considered the pros and cons of signing on to such a pledge, not to the Constitution, but to members of the Trump administration, is that a setback unto itself? Yes, they landed on sort of the right side of the issue, in my view, and I'm sure in the view of many of our leaders, learners, and listeners. However, the fact that this was this much of a conversation, is that still a win for the Trump administration?
Well, it's hard to say that it's a win for the Trump administration. I think it's a bigger question as to whether or not this is a win or a loss really for American democracy, because what these 5 companies are deciding between, you have to think about, Dr. Nee, what's on the other side of this? Had those companies accepted these restrictions that the Trump administration was seeking to impose, what road does this take us down? And I'm going to list, I'm going to name a list of countries that allow for the censorship of journalistic organizations when it comes to coverage of the federal government: China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. That's what's on the other side of potentially accepting, these restrictions that the Trump administration was seeking to impose. And so this, once you allow, or once you agree to censorship when it comes to exposing and monitoring and following the happenings of a presidential administration in an American democracy, that's when your democracy starts to crumble. That's when, as the Washington Post tagline says, democracy dies in the dark. And so it is concerning that there was even deliberation, that there was even consideration of accepting these restrictions, because honestly, it was the first exit on the road to a very, very dark place.
Jamar, I've got to ask you about what this means in terms of us being able to simply process complex information in real time. We know that we are living in a time where there's a shutdown that has threatened the jobs of too many. On top of that, folks who are supposed to be guardians of our democracy, I'm talking about a free press, the fact that, the hostility with the Pentagon abounds. On a post on X, Pete Hegseth said that Pentagon access is a privilege, not a right. If that's what he believes, if that's what this administration believes, then what does this look like downstream with Republican governors, with Republican-controlled legislatures? Is this the last of this? Will we see other Republicans in leadership flex and try and get the press, guardians of our democracy, to sign silly pledges like this?
Yeah, I think, again, it's a scary day when the press is not allowed in the room to ask the important questions from the people, from the citizens of the United States, and not only citizens of the United States, from the world. and especially in a room at the Defense Department, where there are important questions that need to be asked, especially in times as these. I think it definitely elevates the level of distrust, I would believe, because again, we're not able to push back through representation from the press and ask the important questions. And I think that, and I agree with you. This is a testing ground. Folks are, at the state and the local level are looking to see how we respond, how the press responds, and I think that they will follow suit based on based on the response of the press moving forward and pressing for and pushing for access to ask the right questions, but not under the terms laid out by the Defense Department.
When we come forward, there's a scoop that was published by Axios a few days ago on Dominion Voting, how that's been sold to a company run by ex-GOP election officials. For folks who are not familiar, Dominion Voting Systems, the voting machine behemoth that President Trump and his allies baselessly attacked after the 2020 election. Well, guess what? It's been sold to a Missouri-based company run by a former Republican election official. Look, there's a lot of potential for a lot of funny business, and I think we have the right folks with us today to help us understand what that funny business could be from a data governance perspective and just pure plain politics. We're going to get their hot take on it when we come forward. More with Dr. Jonathan E. Collins, Assistant Professor of Political Science at Columbia University, and Jamar Reed, the Managing Partner over at District Analyst. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Evacuation orders are in place across parts of
Three, two. Tavis Smiley here with a final word about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. We've been telling you now about some of our major keynoters, including Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. That's okay. Is that recording? Tavis testing October 25th, LA Trade Tech.
1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and it's always a pleasure to be in conversation with Dr. Jonathan E. Collins, Assistant Professor of Political Science over at Columbia University, and Jamar Reed. He is the Managing Partner of District Analyst, and I'm so honored to have them here to help us go beyond the headlines to try and make it make sense. Dr. Collins, I want to start with you. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the story about Dominion Voting and how it's sold to a company that is run by ex-GOP election officials. But is this as troubling as it looks?
Yeah, because we have a unhealthy mixture, which is business and politics. Anytime you have essentially political parties selling themselves off for capital gain, this begs the question, who is pulling the strings? Who's the puppet and who's the puppet master? Right? And we expect our political leaders to operate with a certain level of integrity that allows them to be representative of the interests of the American people. And when you see these kind of big business mergers, these acquisitions, it just raises this question of who's really in charge here? I mean, you go back to the Citizens United case, where corporations have been treated as their own political actors and have just as much agency in the political process as a human vote. And, we've been down a dark path ever since. And this, to me, is just the latest iteration of that entanglement, or really the overtaking of business and corporation when it comes to politics.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask, just from a data governance point of view, Jamar, I mean, I'm thinking back to Scandal, the show on ABC, the hit show with Kerry Washington. Help me out, Dr. Collins. What was the name of the city where they had the voting irregularities with the voting machine? Was it Defiance, Ohio? Did I get that right?
I think so. Yes.
I think so. I think the conspiracy theorists out there want to know, Jamar, from a data governance perspective, is it possible that a former GOP election official who now is the owner of Dominion Voting System, the voting machine behemoth that Trump and his allies attacked in 2020 for quote unquote, rigging the election, is it possible that the owner of such a company could fix the machines to deliver an adverse result from in any upcoming election? Is that possible?
I'm going to say it. So it's outside of my technical my understanding, but I'm going to tell you this, that I come from the school of I'm okay with trusting, but I'm going to verify. And I think data governance is is the entry point that you brought up, and I absolutely agree with you on that. Accuracy is important, especially when it comes down to again, the rights that we have as citizens of the United States, the ability to vote and to select our representatives. And I'm not a fan of putting that in the hands of those that are looking to make money off of the government, and then also those that have shown themselves not to be trustworthy. So if you're going to remove the ability for us to govern, to apply data governance in this space, and then turn it over to a private organization, that's definitely an area where it gives me pause, and I feel uncomfortable with, especially when it comes to our rights being challenged and taken away. And again, going back to, trust but verify, and I don't see the verify piece of this being enabled. So I'm with you on that, Dr. Quartey and Dr. Jonathan. Yeah.
I mean, not only do I not see the verify piece of this, I don't really hear much from Democrats about this. I don't hear much from independents about this. I don't hear much from Green Party candidates about this. This isn't just a Republican Democratic issue. This is a democracy issue. This is about fairness in elections. It's about free and fair elections. It's important to point out for our leaders, learners, and listeners that Dominion is one of the biggest election equipment providers and was used by 27 states. 27 states during the 2024 election. Liberty Vote purchased the Canada-based Dominion for an undisclosed sum, according to folks familiar with the transaction. And we know that Matt Blunt, who was then Missouri's Republican Secretary of State, he appointed this guy named Leyendecker to a role of investigating St. Louis election administration after the 2000 election. And so there are a lot of strange bedfellows here. There's a lot that's not being disclosed right now. And in my view, there's a lot of concern about our elections being free and fair. Outside of that, speaking of elections, one of the big questions that remains, can Republicans turn out Trump voters when he isn't on the ballot? We know that there are elections that are coming up in New Jersey and Virginia, New York City. There are a number of places where there will be elections this November. But let's just zero in on New Jersey, a stone's throw away from where Dr. Collins is joining us today. Republican Jack Ciattarelli, he has mounted a pretty aggressive bid to become the state's next governor. And he is very much in line with President Trump around sort of Make America Great Again platform. New Jersey is one of the first major tests of Trump's second term for Republicans looking to turn out Trump voters when he's not on the ballot. Dr. Collins, any predictions here?
Well, this is it's an election where New Jersey voters are looking to replace an incumbent Democratic governor, Phil Murphy, who's basically termed out. And the fact that Phil Murphy was quite popular as a governor during the bulk of his tenure as governor, which would in theory bode well for Mickey Sherrill, the Democratic nominee. But as you mentioned, Dr. Q, Ciattarelli has been surging, and a lot of it has been on the backs of the both some candidate controversies and the odd endorsement and support that President Trump has thrown into the race. It's hard to actually make a big prediction here. But I think the big takeaway is that this is going to be one of those 2025 and 2026 elections that tells us just how much Trump has influence over the Republican Party still. Because we are headed into this era where Trump will no longer be on the ballot. Well, maybe with Trump, giving up is never an easy process. But from our understanding of how systems and institutions work, is that Trump should no longer be on the ballot. And now, again, this is the big test. Is the MAGA movement the future of the Republican Party, or was this just a blip in the radar of people who had blind loyalty to Donald Trump, and now that he's no longer in the political picture, the sort of political conditions and the political climate changes for the Republicans? New Jersey is going to be one of those places that like answers that question.
Jamar, we know that there are a number of political operatives that are saying that appealing to Trump voters could risk alienating the decisive independent voter in New Jersey, whom Trump still lost by 6 points in 2024, despite making significant gains compared to the 2020 election. But it's a risk that Republicans seem willing to take. Let's talk about the numbers here. Yes, we get that. This may be a very close election. There are some that say if you can turn out 100,000, then that could be the difference. Crunch these numbers for us. Sure, if you can turn 100,000 people, great. But the fact that Trump still lost the 24 election by 6 points, you got folks like the former chief strategist for former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie that says if your number one issue is Donald Trump and your disdain of Donald Trump, then you're never voting for the Republican anyway. What are the odds that Republicans are going to be able to pull this off in New Jersey?
Yeah, so like Dr. Jonathan, I'm not prepared to make any predictions, but I will say that what's up in the next election is, and it's something that folks have been saying over and over again. Are you better off today than you were the last time around on the election? And I think a lot of folks are asking that question of themselves. A lot of folks are watching the news. A lot of folks are at home due to furloughs and layoffs and the fear of layoffs to come, and they're asking themselves that question. So I think we're going to learn a lot on the other side of this election, as far as if folks want to continue down the path. So not ready to make a prediction, but I will say that this is a test on, are you happy about where you are today, and do you feel good about where we're going?
Well, we shall see. We're only weeks away. If you are listening to us or streaming us in New Jersey and you have not registered to vote, it's still not too late to do that. But this is going to be a close election, and so you want to make sure that you make your voice heard. When we come forward, we're switching gears and we're remembering the legendary D'Angelo, who died today. He died at the age of 51 after pancreatic cancer diagnosis. When we come forward, we're going to play with you a clip of D'Angelo in his own words. We broke into the Tavis Smiley Show archive, and we pulled a clip that ran this morning, but you surely don't want to forget. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More on the remembrance of D'Angelo, and we'll also get Dr. Collins and Jamar Reed's thoughts on the legend when we come forward.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
I started out back in the day as an MC, so hip hop is very much in the nucleus of what I do. And it's all about being true to yourself, or at least the type of hip hop that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. And to me, the strongest, most gangster, most revolutionary motivation on this planet is love. Mm-hmm. Period. So if you're really being pure about that, there's nothing to hide or be ashamed of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
See, love. I mean, I am always amazed by this, and it sounds like a simple enough point to make, and I suspect it is. And yet, I am always blown away by how inexhaustible the notion of love is when it comes to art. That true artists, all these years later, still find ways to talk about love, to write about love, to sing about love. It's such an inexhaustible subject. The challenge, of course, is to find your own unique way to do it. That's right. So when you go into the studio from one project to the next, does the stuff come to you with any sort of ease, or are you struggling to figure out what the next iteration of your work is going to be? How do you figure that out from one project to the next?
Yeah, you never struggle. Prince told me one time, I was finishing up Voodoo, and I was kind of stuck, like I was almost done, but stuck at a little. And he told me, And I was on the phone with him. I was like, you know what? I think. And he said, don't think.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think. Thank you. It just takes a lot of that struggle out of it.
Yeah.
And so you just
be.
Yeah. You shut it down. Shut your mind. Shut all that down.
Yeah.
And just let it come through you.
Yeah.
You know. And if it's real, if it's pure, and if it's true, if you just stand true to you, it's gonna be good.
What do you love most about performing live? Because when I see you on stage, it's like that's like heaven for you. That's what it looks like to me. It feels like to me.
You got it right, man. And you know, the business, a lot of times the road, it can be very, very stressful and hectic, and there's a lot coming at you. But that's the one place, that's the one time when I know I'm in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm driving, you know.
You ride the track.
I'm riding it, and I'm riding the track like a Cadillac. And the band, I'm playing this band, this amazing band with these amazing musicians. And yes, I think during all of the rigmarole and all of that, that's the most freeing time. That's the time I feel the most free.
Yeah.
And the most, I would say, not in control, but just like I'm driving the car.
Yeah.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. You were just listening to the voice of D'Angelo. That's from the Tavis Smiley Show archive. Our thanks to Tavis for sharing that with us on this day where we mourn the loss of D'Angelo at the age of 51 to pancreatic cancer. Dr. Collins, how are you remembering D'Angelo today?
Really in line with what he said during his comments, which was, you know, D'Angelo gave us music that was centered in the idea of Black love. And he did so in a time, you know, you think about, you know, the Brown Sugar drops in 1995. This album drops 3 months before the Million Man March happens in DC. All right, so this is a moment where the stereotypes of Black men are, I think, at its nadir, where we're being portrayed in the media as violent, as angry, as drug users and abusers and sexual predators. And he offered music that spoke to our soul and showed the world that we are creatures of love and humanity and dignity. And he will forever be, loved by me for that.
Jamar, how are you remembering the life and legacy of D'Angelo?
Yeah, brothers, I had to close my eyes and listen to him as he spoke, understanding that music marks time. And to Dr. Collins' point, you know, and I'm glad that he brought that up about where we were in the time that his first album, his first 2 singles dropped. And I think about the fact that you know, D'Angelo reminds us that Black music isn't just sound, it's revolutionary. And and not only that, but Black love is revolutionary. And he turned soul into a statement about ownership and about identity. And I think about all of the artists that I hear when I listen to it. I'm gonna, after we finish up here, I'm gonna turn on some D'Angelo and I'm gonna reminisce and listen to and hear Stevie in his voice, and I'm gonna hear Prince as he spoke about, and all of the other artists, Marvin Gaye, James Brown, that came through in his music. And so that's how I'm going to remember him. Yeah.
Our thanks to you both, Dr. Jonathan Collins, Assistant Professor of Political Science at Columbia, and the one and only Jamar Reed, Managing Director over at Data Analyst. We appreciate, District Analyst rather, appreciate your contribution here. We want to remind everyone that tomorrow you can listen to the full D'Angelo interview, that full 1 hour interview on the Tavis Smiley Show. And so be sure to listen on the KBLA app, or you can tell Alexa at 9 a.m. Pacific time to tap in and listen to that incredible soul in conversation with our very own Tavis Smiley. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Evacuation orders are in place across parts of Southern California as heavy rain pounds the region. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says about 114 homes in the Palisades and Mandeville Canyon must evacuate due to mudslide risks.
This is out of an abundance of caution. We are hoping that the system will not be as bad as this.
Warnings also extend to Pacific Palisades and Malibu and may last through